Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Surprise Jab Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Ruger, surprising you with new topics every single week and jabbing you with your daily dose of UFC information. We are fresh off of one of the, if not the biggest events in UFC history, which was UFC 300. It did not disappoint in the slightest. It was probably one of the greatest experiences I've had watching an event. The fights delivered, the moments delivered, and that's going to be the main subject of what we'll be talking about today. This is our official UFC 300 review, thoughts on what every fighter will do next, just our reactions to all the fights. So excited to talk about all of that. Also on today's episode, going to be reviewing the NBA. The NBA season has come to an end. The playoffs are upon us. We'll talk about the potential results of each matchup, as well as kind of recapping how every team did this season. Going to talk about a new movie I've seen, as well as talk about three of the biggest new fights that were announced on the UFC 300 post-conference, which was oddly more fun than the pre-conference. Usually the pre-conference is more fun, but nah, Dana White brought that energy after UFC 300. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right on into it. And yes, Dana White, of course, came on after UFC 300 was done and announced three huge matchups. First one, the co-main event for UFC 302. I mean, we were waiting for the main event, and first we got the co-main event. Going down June 1st in Newark, New Jersey, 5-round co-main event. Number 1 ranked Sean Strickland in the men's middleweight division takes on number 7 ranked Paulo Costa. What a huge matchup this one is. Sean Strickland, fresh off of his title defeat in January, unfortunately, to Dricus du Plessis. That was my split decision. Sean Strickland brought it that whole fight. He's back in action against Paulo Costa, who lost an absolute war against Robert Whittaker back in February. Quick turnaround for these guys. I love to see it. Sean Strickland is 28-6 professionally, 15-6 in the UFC. Holds wins over Israel Adesanya, Brendan Allen, Jack Hermanson. This guy's an absolute killer. 3-time performance of the night winner in the UFC and a fight of the night in his last bout. So excited to see Sean Strickland back in action. But Paulo Costa is no easy competition. I mean, oh my gosh, this guy's a former title challenger. Holds wins over Johnny Hendricks, former champion. Yoel Romero, former title challenger. Luke Rockhold, former champion. 2-time performance of the night winner. Got a fight of the night 2 fights ago. This guy is pure entertainment. 14-3 professionally, 6-3 in the UFC. So excited to see Borrachina take on Tarzan. That's right, Sean Strickland's nickname, I believe, is Tarzan still. Doesn't really fit anymore, but nonetheless, it is still kind of fun to call him that. And yeah, Borrachina for what's his face, Paulo Costa. That is a fun nickname. I won't lie, I very much enjoy that. But my early prediction, I'm a little torn on this, ladies and gentlemen, because Sean Strickland has just delivered so much in the past 2 years. I mean, we'll go off of 2022. He gets knocked out by Alex Pereira, all right? Comes back in December, loses a close split decision to Jared Cannonier. Turns around on less than a month's notice, beats the up-and-coming Nasruddin Imavov. Then the summer, knocks out Abus Magomedov, who's supposed to just skyrocket up the rankings and take his spot. After that, takes on Israel Adesanya. As we all know the tale, beats Israel Adesanya for the championship. And now, here he stands looking to get back to another title shot against Dricus du Plessis. As for Paulo Costa, I mean, this guy was so active in his first 2 years in the UFC. Then 2020 strikes. Only is able to get one fight in against Israel Adesanya. Fought once in 2021, fought once in 2022, didn't even fight in 2023, and just recently fought against Robert Whittaker in February. So I don't know how it's going to go. I am leaning Paulo Costa, as Paulo Costa just looked very impressive against Robert Whittaker. And I know that's saying a lot, being that Sean Strickland lost to Dricus du Plessis, but I don't know. I might ride with Paulo Costa. We'll see what happens. But the other big fight announced for UFC 302, the main event for that card in Newark, New Jersey on June 1st, 155 pounds for the belt, the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter on the planet, your lightweight champion, the protege of Khabib Nurmagomedov, Islam Makhachev. I mean, oh my goodness, gets me so hyped. He'll be taking on number 3 ranked Dustin the Diamond Poirier. Dustin, fresh off of his win against Benoit Saint-Denis. And honestly, we have honestly forgotten that Dustin Poirier is on a little 2-fight win streak. I think we all kind of forgot that, or no, he isn't. He isn't on a 2-fight win streak. I forgot he got knocked out over the summer. But I mean, beat Michael Chandler, lost to Justin Gaethje, just beat Benoit Saint-Denis. Does he really deserve this? I don't really want to say, like, no, but I mean, certainly, I mean, Matus Gamrot, Arman Tsarukyan, Arman was actually offered this fight after his, we'll talk about his, but he won this past Saturday, and he was offered the fight at UFC 302, but he wanted to take some time off instead of stepping in on less than 2 months' notice, so, you know what, good for him, but Dustin the Diamond Poirier will probably get his third and final shot at the men's lightweight championship, and I mean, Islam Makhachev, 25-1 professionally, 14-1 in the frickin' UFC. And can I get this guy's win streak pulled up? I mean, oh my goodness. What's it up to now? 13-fight win streak of his 25 wins, 16 finishes, fresh off his knockout over Volkanovski in October. Glad he's fighting. Islam was only able to get one fight in last year, and I'm happy that we're able to see him fight twice, most likely, this year. He wants to fight. Of course, he'll be fighting at UFC 302, and he wants to fight at Madison Square Garden in November. Dustin the Diamond Poirier, 30-8 professionally, 21-7 in the UFC. I mean, holds wins over Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler, Max Holloway, this guy, former UFC interim lightweight champion, 8 fight of the nights in the UFC, 4 performance of the bonuses. He was even fighting when they were giving out submission of the night and knockout of the nights. This guy's an absolute legend. So excited to see this fight. Now, let me just tell you, the result beforehand, Islam Makhachev submission, as impressive as it was Dustin Poirier, knocking out Benoit Saint-Denis, Benoit destroyed him in round number 1. And as we all learned, Benoit Saint-Denis had a staph infection that played a role in his cardio, and he ended up getting knocked out by Dustin Poirier. But as we look at the past 2 men that Dustin Poirier challenged for the lightweight championship, Khabib submitted in round 3, Charles Oliveira submitted him in round 3. I mean, his only wins, Dustin Poirier's only wins, are against Benoit Saint-Denis, who arguably had fought nowhere near the level of Dustin Poirier and was dominating him, and Michael Chandler, who essentially gassed out and got submitted in round number 3. I mean, the grappling, as long as Dustin Poirier's been in the business, the grappling has just never really been his strong suit. Islam, his grappling is unreal. His striking has improved so much. So I'm sure you can expect a quick finish in this one. I'm round 1 submission for Islam Makhachev. I'm being dead serious. He takes him down, puts him in an arm triangle, and gets it done. But nonetheless, an exciting event. I'm excited for 302. And then the big one, ladies and gentlemen, the big announcement. Dana White knew we were waiting for it. UFC 303, 5 rounds, going down at welterweight. That's right, welterweight, 170 pounds. The return of the notorious, the former featherweight and lightweight champion, the star of Roadhouse, who holds out of the top 10 biggest selling pay-per-views in UFC history. I'm pretty sure 6 of them, Conor McGregor, the star, the national star of the world, is back as he takes on the number 6 ranked lightweight Michael Chandler. Iron Michael Chandler. So excited that this fight's finally going down end of June. UFC 303 and International Fight Week. Super excited for this one. Michael Chandler has not fought since he lost to Dustin Poirier in November of 2022. But I mean, this guy holds wins over Tony Ferguson, Patricia Ferreira, Benson Henderson. He's legit as they come. 2-time performance of the night, 2-time fight of the night. By the way, he's only had 4 fights in the UFC. I mean, come on. What more could you want out of Michael freaking Chandler? This guy is so fun to watch. He may be 2-3 in the UFC, but hey, he's fun. Conor McGregor, I mean, the former champion, he's been fought since July of 2021. These two boys have not actually had a real fight that's been sanctioned in quite a freaking minute. So I will see how that plays into the equation. But excited for this one. Conor McGregor's grappling will really be put to the test here, as much as Michael Chandler says he's going to strike with Conor McGregor. We already know Michael Chandler, he gets dropped. He eats a lot of punches. He gets bloody, and he shoots for takedowns. Okay, we've seen it in all of his fights where he's made it past me in the first few minutes. Dan Hooker was the exception where Michael Chandler was able to land one big shot. I mean, he did it against Tony Ferguson when Tony touched him. He did it against Justin Gaethje when Gaethje touched him. Did against Oliveira. Did against Poirier. You can expect Michael Chandler to take down Conor McGregor. And being that Dustin Poirier was dominating Conor McGregor in grappling, I see Michael Chandler probably dominating here. I am going to root for McGregor. I mean, it's kind of hard not to. Dude's a legend. But Michael Chandler, I think, just has the advantages at the moment. And I don't even know if I want to call it that he's fought more recently, because fighting 2 years ago compared to fighting 3 years ago, I guess a year difference makes it matter. But at the same time, it's just been so long. It's been so long. So excited that those 3 fights are going down. I'll keep everyone updated on any more news that Dana White drops. Let me tell you about some old news, an old movie that I recently watched that I figured I'd just share with everyone because I thought it was absolutely hilarious and it was so random, one of the most random movies I've ever seen. Tropic Thunder. That's right, Tropic Thunder, starring Jack Black, Ben Stiller, Robert Downey Jr. I mean, there's actually so many actors in this. It's absolutely crazy. You got Matthew McConaughey, Danny McBride, Nick Nolte, Bill Hader, Tom Cruise is in this, and I was absolutely starstruck at how goofy this movie was. Essentially, Tropic Thunder, released in 2008, is labeled a satirical action comedy film where you have all your big name actors, Robert Downey Jr., Ben Stiller, Jack Black, and they all play, movie stars in the film, and they're making this biopic of a Vietnam film. So they go to Vietnam to film, and they actually get wound up in real trouble with actual, Vietnam, I don't even know what you want to call it, drug dealers, Vietnam rebels or whatever, and they have to try and survive. It is one of the wildest rides. I was caught off guard by some of the scenes. Oh, that's for certain. Jack Black plays a drug addict, and he is just always fiending for drugs. Robert Downey Jr. does blackface in this film, which is very comical. Jay Baruchel is in this. He was in Out of Her League and voice of Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon. He kind of plays the wimpy guy in the film. Ben Stiller plays the lead hero, if you will. Matthew McConaughey plays Ben Stiller's agent, and Tom Cruise plays, gosh, I have no idea, is a billionaire who basically is directing the movie or is paying for the movie, and he has a fat suit on, fake hair, he's fake bald cap. It is so weird. It is one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen. The budget was $92 million. It made $195.7 at the box office, and I would just love to see the reviews for this because I just know for a fact it had some weird stuff. It got an 82% Rotten Tomatoes though, an average of 7.1 across all sites. I don't even know what to make of that. It was, I will say Robert Downey Jr. doing blackface was not as criticized back then as it was now, which I find absolutely funny. But actually, it was criticized for its disability advocacy community, because in the show, there's the movie, Ben Stiller, in one of the movies he played in oh my gosh, how do I make space? His character in the movie was in a movie called Simple Jack, where he plays a guy that is essentially autistic or something. He has some form of disability, and apparently that was controversial because they were making fun of it. I don't even know. The Special Olympics was mad, but I mean, this movie would not fly today. I can tell you that for certain. This movie would not fly today, but I mean, this movie won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor to Robert Downey Jr. Very, very, very hilarious. Very, very hilarious. Box office, anything else? $260 million worldwide, actually. How about that one compared to the $195 in the United States of America? Yeah, just crazy movie. Robert Downey Jr., his character's name is Kirk Lazarus, and to portray the character in his movie film, he basically undergoes stem cell, or I don't even know, pigmentation or something, to make his skin black. And I mean, honestly, it looks realistic in the movie. But oh my gosh, it's just, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. That's all I got to say about that. Tom Cruise, go look up pictures of Tom Cruise, certainly in this film. I've heard it was something that people really questioned about him, as he's known more for playing, his roles that Tom Cruise usually takes are not as weird as this one. That's for certain. The soundtrack for this film, absolutely amazing. I mean, you have Run Through the Jungle, You Can't Touch This, I Just Want to Celebrate. What else we got? War, Get Back, a lot of fun songs in this one. It was rumored that there's going to be a spin-off film focused on Tom Cruise's character. A script was able to be written, but Cruise was kind of just nah, I'm good. I don't really want to do that again. So I encourage everyone to check it out. Good movie to watch if you're bored, but it is something. It's hard to even put into words what it is. It essentially makes fun of everyone, pokes fun at everyone, and is certainly not woke. Let me tell you that. This movie is not woke. This is the opposite of woke. This is the type of movie where you see a bunch of Karens, a bunch of people online getting triggered saying that it offends them, when in reality it's just a comedic movie. I think I watched it. Gosh, where did I watch it? I think it was on Peacock, because I still have Peacock from watching WrestleMania. So yes, check it out on Peacock. It is as wacky and weird as everyone says it is. Tropic Thunder. It gets a 7.9 out of 10 from me. If we're looking at it from a comedic sense, it gets a 7.9 out of 10 from me. With that, let's get into the NBA, because the NBA 23-24 season has officially commenced, and we are now in the playoffs. The regular season is over. I should better phrase it like that. And certainly it was a pretty hectic last day. Unfortunately, we'll mention them in a minute, but my Minnesota Timberwolves did not finish with the number 1 seed. We finished with the number 3 seed, which I'm a little torn on, but it's the NBA playoffs. Anything can happen. Let's kind of just talk about how every team finished first off. In the Eastern Conference, the Celtics, obviously your number 1 team, they finished with 64 wins, only 18 losses, only 4 losses at home, 37-4 at home, 41-11 in their conference, and the year on a 2-game win streak. Impressive stuff from the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum certainly has a lot to prove in this playoffs, as most people are saying that he is not as good as people make him out to be. We'll see how that happens. Number 2 seed is the New York Knicks, end the year 50-32, first 50 win season in like a decade, I'm pretty sure. End the year on a 5-game win streak, pretty impressive. Knicks, Jalen Brunson leading this team. You also got Dante DiVincenzo, Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, star-studded cast. Milwaukee Bucks end the year on a 2-game losing streak, just miss out on 50 wins, 49-33. Apparently, Damian Lillard is upset with everything that's going on in Milwaukee. So if the Bucks don't win a chip this year, Damian Lillard might say adios. But they are your number 3 seed and end the year on 3-7 in their last 10. Yikes. Cleveland Cavaliers go 48-34. They drop 6 of their last 10 matchups. Magic are in 5th. They split their last 10 and the year 47-35 at the 5th spot. Pacers end at 6, 47-35, 7-3 in the last 10. Pretty impressive. 76ers 47-35. End on an 8-game win streak to go from being in the play-in to going all the way to the number 7 seed. Impressive stuff from the 76ers. At the 8, Jimmy Buckets and the Heat, 46-36 on the year, 7-3 in the final 10, 2-game win streak. Very excited to see how Jimmy G performs in Jimmy Buckets, whatever you want to call Jimmy Butler, how he performs in the playoffs. At the 9 spot, hosting the Hawks in the play-in, we have the Chicago Bulls somehow in the playoffs, 39-43, and the year 5-5 in their last 10. I mean, they went negative in everything. We'll see if they can even make the playoffs. At 10, just sneaking in, Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, and the Hawks, 36-46 on the year, and end on a 6-game losing streak. I mean, there's at one point they could have potentially made that 8-7 spot. No, they dropped their last 6 games. At 11, the Brooklyn Nets, 32-50 to lose their last 2 games. I mean, just Cameron Johnson, he needs help. Number 12, the Raptors, 25-57, end on a 4-game losing streak. This Raptors team is just abysmal. At number 13, the Hornets, 21-61. They did get to 20 wins. They win 3 of their last 10 games. And yeah, LaMelo Ball, they'll need you back. At the 14 spot, 15-67, end on a 6-game losing streak. Only win 2 games out of their last 15. Oh my goodness, the Washington Wizards, this team has no one. They have no talent. Maybe Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma is their best player, I'm pretty sure. Wizards, just not it. Detroit Pistons, 14-68. Wow, worst team in the NBA. 2-8 in their last 10. They only won 10 games at home. Actually, no, they won 10 games in the conference. They went 7-33 at home, 7-35 on the road. Holy cow. It is just Pistons. Enjoy a high draft pick. I don't even know what to say to you guys. Let's move to the West. The number 1 team in the West, they end by winning on the final day. They blew out the Mavericks by a lot too. I mean, do we have a score for that? They beat the Mavericks by, gosh, what even was that score? It was 135-86. It was like 107-56 at one point. It was an absolute beatdown. But yes, good job, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, Josh Giddey, the young Thunder core. Finished the year 57-25 on a 5-game win streak. Win 33 games at home, only lose 8. Nuggets at your 2 spot, same record, 57-25. They were able to get 1 win to end the season, 6-4 in their last 10. They'll be your 2 seed. My Timberwolves at the 3 spot, 56-26. We go 30-11 at home, win 6 of our last 10. Anthony Edwards, you balled out. We didn't have Karl Anthony Towns, though, so that kind of hurt us. Clippers at the 4, 51-31. They lose their last 3 games. Mavericks at the 5th, 50-32. They lose their last 2, but Clippers and Mavericks, essentially rested all their players to round out the year. The Timberwolves' opponent in the playoffs, as we'll mention in a second, the Phoenix Suns, 49-33. They end on a 3-game win streak. Pelicans, 49-33. They split their last 10, 5-5. They were potentially looking at a 5th spot, but absolutely choked down the stretch. Lakers in the play-in at the number 8 spot, 47-35. They win 7 of the last 10. Kings at the 9, just squeak in 46-36. And the Warriors, your number 10 team, 46-36 as well. They win 8 of the last 10. At the 11 spot, the Houston Rockets, 41-41. Even on the year, just, not good enough to make the play-in, not good enough to get a top 10 draft pick. Jazz go 2-8 in their last 10, 31-51, as they are able to somehow snap their, 14-game losing streak. Jazz, I don't even know what's wrong with the Jazz. 13, Grizzlies, 27-55. They lose their last 5 games. They only won 9 games at home this year. Oh my gosh, terrible year to be a Grizzlies fan. Spurs at 14 don't even finish with the worst record, 22-60. Victor Wembanyama is able to lead them to 2 games winning streak to end the year. Trailblazers, worst team in the West, 21-61. They only won 8 games in their conference all year, 2-8 in the last 10. They end on a 5-game losing streak. One fun thing I wanted to do before we actually look at NBA awards is kind of see what teams improved and which ones didn't improve since last season. So we're just going to quickly match up every single team with how they finished last year versus how they finished this year. So the Celtics were obviously your number 1 team this year. They were actually the number 2 team last year and were able to win 7 extra games. Very impressive from the Boston Celtics. The Knicks, your number 2 seed, went 50-32 this year. Last year finished as the 5th seed, went 47-35. That's a plus 3-game advantage, and they even jumped up 3 spots. Good year for the Knicks. Bucks 58-24. Last year were the best team in the NBA. This year they finished 49-33, so it was a bit of a fall off despite acquiring Damian Lillard. That's fascinating to see. Cavaliers finished as the 4th seed with 48 wins. Last year, they finished as the 4th seed with 51 wins. So don't really move divisional-wise, but did lose 3 extra games. Magic, 5th seed this year. Last year was the 13th seed. Shout out to the Orlando Magic. Only won 34 games this year. That is a plus 13 game change in the season. Orlando Magic got to be one of the best turnarounds you're going to see here. Pacers last year finished 11th, 35 wins. This year they finished 6th with 47. How about that little plus 11 change in the playoffs? Good job with the Pacers. At 7, the 76ers, they were the number 3 team last year, won 54 games, so that is a 7-game fall off. Unfortunate to see from the 76ers. Heat at the 8 spot, 46 wins this year. They finished at the 8 spot last year at 44 wins, so I guess you kind of did better, but same spot. Raptors, 41 wins last year. They were the 9th team. They finished with only 25 this year at the 12th spot. Big fall off from the Raptors. Last year, Bulls, 40-42 were the number 10 seed. This year, 39-43. They're the 9th seed. Nothing much of a change there. Pretty similar when you look back on it. Where else are we sitting at for this year? The Hawks, number 10 team. The Hawks were number 7 last year, won 41 games last year, only won 36 this year. That's a 5-game fall off, unfortunately. The Nets, 11th this year, 32-50. Last year, the Nets were 45-37 in the 6th seed, so quite a big fall off for the Nets. Raptors, of course, 12th seed this year, won 25 games. Last year, they were the 9th seed, won 41, so that's another big fall off for them, minus 16. Hornets, they were the number 13 seed, 21 wins on the year. Last year, they were the 14th seed and won 27 games. So, in a weird way, they finished better positionally, but at the same time, they won less games. So, fall off for sure. Number 14 seed, the Washington Wizards won 15 games this year. Last year, they won 35. Wow, a 20-game fall off. And Pistons, they were the last team. They were the bottom of the pack last year. 17 wins, 65 losses. They managed to outdo themselves and lose three more games, 14 and 68. Pistons, despite getting the number one pick, actually got worse. They actually got worse. How about that, Detroit? You need to fix your team. So, shout out to the Magic and the Pacers. Big changes for them. Moving on to the West. This year, the Thunder were your number one team, 57 wins. Last year, the Thunder were, where even were the Thunder? I can't find the 10th spot with only 40 wins plus 17, going from the 10th spot to the 1 spot. I don't think you're beating the Thunder for season change round. Give their head coach of the year. Nuggets, 57 wins this season. They won 53 and were the number one seed last year. Nuggets, they won more games despite finishing second. Nuggets, equally as good as last year. The Timberwolves, 56 wins this past season. Last year, they had 42 and were the 8th seed. That is right. The Minnesota Timberwolves improving drastically. You love to see it. Plus 14 wins. Very happy for Anthony Edwards, Karl-Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert. Just the squad. Love the squad. Clippers finished 4th this year, as we mentioned, 51 wins. Last year, they were the 5th team and had 44 wins. So, good little improvement for the Clippers. Mavericks, 50 wins this year at the 5 spot. They actually missed the playoffs last year at the number 11 spot with only 38 wins. So, Luka, the addition of Kyrie Irving, paying off this year. Luka and Kyrie balling out. At the 6th spot, the Suns, 49 wins. Last year, the Suns had 45 and were the 4th seed. So I think you just kind of have to realize the West is better this year. So the Suns actually did improve despite falling farther down on the rankings. Pelicans at the 7th spot this year, 49 wins. Pelicans, 42 last year and were the 9th seed. So a little bit of an improvement for Zion, CJ McCollum, and Brandon Ingram. At the 8th this year, Lakers with 47 wins. Last year, the Lakers were at the 7th spot with 43. So, an improvement for LeBron James and his squad. Kings this year, 46 wins at the 9th spot. Last year, they had 48 and were the 3 seed. So, it just kind of shows how good the West is. Despite losing 2 less games, the Kings fell back 6 spots. Don't really want to knock them for that. The West just overpowered. And the last team in the play-in this year, the Warriors with 46 wins. Last year, the Warriors had 44 and were a 6th seed. So that's just crazy to me. Warriors, despite actually having 2 more wins, drop back 4 spots. Just missing the playoffs, the Rockets at the 11th spot finished the year 41 and 41. Last year, they were the 14th seed and only won 22 games. So big shout out to the Rockets, even though you're missing the playoffs this year, plus 19 games. Good stuff. Jazz got 31 wins this year. Last year, they had 37. They also missed the playoffs, or actually also the 12th seed. So despite, Jazz did not improve. Jazz sucked. One of the biggest fall-offs you're going to see on this list, actually might be the biggest fall-off. The number 13 seeded Grizzlies with 27 wins, I kid you not, last year, were the number 2 team in the West with 51 wins. That is, and I quote, a 24-game fall-off for the Memphis Grizzlies. Wow. Just wow. Astonishing how bad this Grizzlies team is. Wow, I'm sorry, Memphis. You guys were ballers last year. Only lost 6 games at home last year. Grizzlies only won 9 games this year. That's atrocious. Spurs finished with 22 wins at the 14th spot. Last year, they were the 15th seed with 22 wins. So essentially, Victor Wembanyama didn't do anything. You guys finished exactly the same. Eerily similar. But the worst team this year in the West, the Trailblazers with 21 wins. Last year finished 13th with 33 wins. So that is a 12-game fall-off. Embarrassing stuff for the Trailblazers. So shout out to the, who'd we say? The Thunder, amazing work. The Magic, the Pacers, and you know what? We'll even give the Mavericks a little shout out here. Good work for what you guys have done with your team. But with that, we get into the awards. As we look at the 2024 NBA awards, I mean, as of right now, Nikola Jokic appears to be the runner-up, or not the runner-up, the runner-ahead, or however you want to phrase it, to win MVP. Luka Doncic in second. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander apparently might be in the conversation. But yeah, I mean, when you average 33 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists in a season, you're going to get a little bit of notoriety. The best player in the league, Nikola Jokic. Rookie of the Year, there's just no one even close. Chet Holmgren is probably in second, and he is so far away. Victor Wembanyama averaged 21.4 points, 10.6 rebounds, and an astonishing 3.5 blocks. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to grow up with Victor Wembanyama. He might be my generation's LeBron James, honestly. My children's LeBron James. I don't even know. Defensive Player of the Year, it's looking like it's going to be Rudy Gobert. Despite Victor Wembanyama averaging 4.5 blocks and 1.5 steals in the last 22 games, Rudy Gobert just as a whole, his team as a whole has just shown out better than the Spurs have. So it's looking like Rudy Gobert, my center here in Minnesota, is going to win Defensive Player of the Year. Most improved player, it's looking like Kobe White of the Bulls is going to be getting the nod. Tyrese Maxey looked like a lock for this award, but unfortunately he kind of fell off towards the end of the year. Kobe White kind of balled out the rest of the way. Good stuff for him. Sixth Man of the Year is an absolute split down the middle on whether it's going to Naz Reid of my Minnesota Timberwolves or Malik Monk of the Sacramento Kings. It could go to either of them. They're both so deserving of it. Coach of the Year, got to be Mark Daigneault, I think it is, of the Thunder. And, Tom Thibodeau led the Knicks to a 2 seed, which is super impressive. Jamal Mosey turned the Knicks into one of the best defenses in the league. Joe Mazzulla even won 64 games. But looking at what the Thunder did from last season to this season, how dominant they are with how young they are, it's got to go to them. Clutch Player of the Year, which has got to be a new award. I've been seeing votes for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, DeMar DeRozan, Jokic, Steph Curry. Might be going to DeMar DeRozan or Steph Curry. We'll see. Executive of the Year, got to be Brad Stevens, who took the 57-win Celtics last year, moved to the head office, and led them to a 64-win team. I mean, he was able to get Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday, and Marcus Smart all on the team. Or get Marcus off the team, but yeah, good stuff all around. Excited to see how all those awards play out. I think Victor Wembanyama is the only lock though, from what I've seen. But yes, we get to the playoffs. Then in the East, the Boston Celtics will take on the winner of this could be crazy. They're going to take on the winner of the Chicago versus Atlanta game versus the loser of the Philadelphia versus Miami game. So let's say the Hawks beat the Bulls, and let's say the Heat beat the 76ers. The winner of the 76ers and Hawks will take on the Celtics. I don't see any team really beating the Boston Celtics unless, honestly, the 76ers or the Heat have the best chance. 9 and 10 seeded Bulls and Hawks don't stand a chance. Number 2 seed Knicks will play the winner of the 76ers and Heat. I don't know how that's going to go. It'll be a tough series for the Knicks, but I wish them luck. Number 3 seeded Milwaukee Bucks will take on the Indiana Pacers. That should be a banger of a series. Those teams last played in January, with the Pacers winning by 12. We'll see how Dame Lillard and the Greek Freak translate their skills into the playoffs. And the last official matchup for the East, the 4th seeded Cleveland Cavaliers and the 5th seeded Orlando Magic will do battle. They last played in February, where Orlando won by 17. And I'm very excited to see how this game turns out, as it's just crazy that the Cavaliers or Magic, with the state of their teams, one of them is guaranteed to make it to the quarterfinals or semifinals, however you want to put it. Actually, I think it's quarterfinals, or the second round is just how you want to put it. My early predictions right now as we cover this, give me Boston advancing to round 2. Give me the winner of Philadelphia and the Heat versus the Knicks advancing. Give me Milwaukee over Indiana, and give me the Cavaliers over the Magic. That's how we think so. In the West, the Thunder, of course, your number 1 team. They'll be taking on the winner of, here we go. They'll be taking on the winner of Sacramento and Golden State versus the loser of the Pelicans and the Lakers. So looking at how this could potentially shape up, I'm going to go with the Kings winning over the Warriors. I'm going to say Lakers making it the 7th seed. Pelicans lose to the Kings, and the Kings play the Thunder round 1. And give me the Thunder in that matchup. Denver will play the winner of New Orleans and Los Angeles. I think the Lakers get that one, but then I think Nikola Jokic just handles business. Minnesota and the Suns. I cannot believe that the Timberwolves have to play the Phoenix Suns. We played them 3 times this year, and we lost every single time. And by the way, we lost by double digits in every single one of those games. Every single one of those games, the Timberwolves lost. So 0-3 this year, the Timberwolves will look to pull off a miracle, as this is probably the best chance the Timberwolves have at winning an NBA Finals. Your 4th seed and 5th seed, the final matchup, the 4th seed Clippers versus the 5th seed Mavericks. This is going to be a heater. This is going to be an absolute barn burner, but I got right with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. I like the Mavericks. Honestly, I think they're a fun team. Plus, my school mascot at Mankato is the Mavericks, so it'd be rude of me not to choose them. A lot of fun stuff ahead. I think the playing games kick off on Tuesday, April 16th, if I'm not mistaken. Go on the 17th, 18th, and then maybe on the 19th or 20th, we actually get into actual games. I don't really know. Excited to see how the NBA playoffs work out, how everything's going to shape up down the stretch. But I just really hope the Timberwolves do well. This is such a good year for the Timberwolves, and I'm experiencing it. This could be our year, but sadly, the West is just so freaking good, and we got to play a team we haven't beaten in the Suns. Best of luck to the Timberwolves. We'll stay covered on the NBA playoffs throughout the whole playoffs, is actually what I meant to say. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us into my final topic for today's episode, and I am absolutely pumped. I'm absolutely pumped for this, as we are going to recap UFC 300. We had 13 amazing fights go down this past weekend, and I cannot wait to get into it. I'm not even going to give an introduction. You know, we're going from our prelims to our main event. We'll talk about what's next for all these guys. Let's get right on into it. Kicking off the evening, we had Deiveson Figueiredo taking on Cody Garbrandt. Deiveson Figueiredo currently ranked number 8 at the men's bantamweight division. Cody Garbrandt was unranked, a former bantamweight champion. And, you know, this fight started off pretty typical. I mean, Cody Garbrandt was looking better on the feet, surprisingly, and actually outstruck him in round 1, 15-9. Deiveson Figueiredo went 0 of 3 on takedowns, but once we got into round 2, Figueiredo was able to land 1, and once he got to the ground, it was over. He tried over and over to get some submissions, and finally, 4 minutes in round 2, Figueiredo submits Cody Garbrandt with a rear naked choke, improving to 2-0 in the men's bantamweight division, and is now on a 2-fight winning streak. Good job for Figueiredo. As for Garbrandt, snaps a little 2-fight win streak for him. I mean, this was a big opportunity. However you put it for Cody Garbrandt, the option of whether he deserved it or not to fight the number 8 guy, I think he obviously did deserve this, especially giving Figueiredo another pick-me-up fight, if you will, at bantamweight, but impressive stuff from your former flyweight champion. And just right when he took the back, I mean, the squeeze, Garbrandt did not last long, locked it in, and the tap was incoming. So Figueiredo wins now. He's currently ranked number 8. And when we look at the rankings, number 7 ranked Song Yadong just lost. Number 6 ranked Henry Cejudo just lost. And number 5, Marlon Vera just lost. So Figueiredo could easily stay at 8, move up to 7, 6, or 5. I think options are unlimited for him, and he could have fights with Song Yadong, Marlon Vera, Piotr Jan. He's got a lot of options at bantamweight. Personally, for me, if I'm booking Figueiredo, I think him versus Marlon Vera would make a great fight. Marlon has great striking, which would really test if Figueiredo could hang with some of the top guys, but a good win for him. As for Cody Garbrandt, I mean, there is just so many unranked bantamweights he could fight, but if the UFC wants to keep him in the rankings, and I think right now is a perfect opportunity, number 12 ranked Dominick Cruz, the rematch from 8 years ago. Make it happen, ladies and gentlemen. That fight was amazing. It was when Cody Garbrandt won the belt. Dominick Cruz hasn't fought since Marlon Vera knocked him out, I'm pretty sure. Am I speaking incorrectly or no? He hasn't fought since August 2022. How is he even in the rankings? I mean, does Dominick Cruz even own a win? I think he owns a win over Pedro Munoz. I think that's his only win over ranked competitors. So, good win for Figueiredo. I obviously didn't think it was worthy of a performance bonus, but hey, you know what? He gets his first finish since 2020. Very happy for Figueiredo. Excited to see where he goes next. Moving on to our next bout, we had what's he ranked now? 14th. Number 14 ranked Bobby Green taking on the unranked, the legend Jim Miller. And unlike 100 and 200, Jim couldn't get it done. Just like that, my predictions for UFC 300 were incorrect on the second fight. That's why I don't bet, folks. Bobby Green just outboxed the living daylights off of Jim Miller. Round 1, 43-17 significant strikes. Jim Miller shared afterwards that he broke his finger and his toe in the first round. I don't even think just his finger. I think he broke his hand in the first round. Round 2 got even worse. 61 significant strikes to 20. And Jim Miller, by the way, didn't attempt a single takedown this whole fight. Didn't attempt a single takedown. Round 3, 82 significant strikes to 20. Bobby Green's total for the fight, 186 significant strikes. That'll be his second best performance in the UFC. You want to know what his best was? 188. So he came so close to breaking it, but fell too short. But I mean, just incredible. And fight could have been stopped in the final 30 seconds when Bobby Green knocked down Jim Miller. He even landed a takedown on Jim. It was brutal to see. Jim Miller snaps a little 2-fight win streak for him. As for Bobby Green, great return fight after getting knocked out in December. Happy to see it. He'll remain in the rankings at 14 and honestly could potentially move up to 13 or 12 because I don't really know what's going to happen as the number 13 and the number 10 and your number 4 and 1. There's going to be a lot of changes at lightweight when the rankings come out Tuesday. So I don't know. Bobby Green, I'd like to see him move up. He just beat Jim Miller. He could have a fight with Matt Frivola, who's ranked 15th. He could even have a fight with number 12 ranked Rafael Dos Anjos. Him versus, rematch with Rafael Fiziev. A lot of options for Bobby Green. Unranked competitors galore. But for Jim Miller, I hope he sticks around. He is 40 years old, turns 41 in August. I mean, Jim, I don't know how many more years we have left, but it was an honor to see you fight. This was fight in the night up until, I'd say, roughly the final prelim of the night. So Bobby Green versus Jim Miller did not disappoint. It was just kind of sad seeing Bobby Green just beat Jim Miller up just brutally. It kind of just broke my heart. But Jim Miller, still a fan. Bobby Green, sorry I doubted you. Moving into our third fight of the evening, and unfortunately, folks, there's always that one fight that's just kind of boring. It's not that exciting. Unfortunately, it was the women's strawweight bout between Jessica Andrade and Marina Rodriguez. Jessica Andrade coming out on top by split decision. I do agree with the decision, but I won't lie. Watching it live, even though I picked Marina Rodriguez because she was the underdog, when the decision was called, I was kind of a little skeptical. Like, hey, maybe she had won, but I also agree with it. Round 1, significant strikes. Marina landed more, 16-14, but total strikes, Jessica Andrade landed more, 49-27. She got 2 minutes and 44 seconds of control time just from kind of holding her up against the cage. Kind of boring. Round 2, the ladies started letting their hands go. Jessica Andrade landing more, 42-35 total and significant strikes. More thrown by Marina. She threw 107 in round 2. Round 3, even closer, 33-31 significant strikes in favor of Jessica Andrade, 33-32 total strikes in favor of Jessica Andrade as well. And she was able to land one takedown to get 46 seconds of control time. So Jessica Andrade comes out on top. The only man to score it for Marina was Derek Cleary. So Derek, I was rocking with you, but as we look at the women's strawweight rankings, Jessica Andrade was just ranked 4, just beat the number 6 lady. I think Marina will stay at 6. And by the way, looking at what Jessica Andrade did to Mackenzie Dern makes it almost impressive that Marina took her the distance. Andrade shields a win over the number 3 lady, holds a loss to the number 2, holds a loss to the number 1, and holds a loss to the champ. And Virna Jandiroba just picked up a big win over Lupi Godinez the other day, so Jessica Andrade at 4, Virna Jandiroba at 5. If you're looking at women's strawweight, would be a perfect matchup. But Jessica Andrade is also ranked number 5 at flyweight. Amanda Ribas just lost to Rose Namajunas, who's ranked 6 now. So if Jessica Andrade wanted to have a fight night against Rose Namajunas, a middle main event in the Apex, that wouldn't bother me too much. A lot of options for Andrade. She gets the win here. A little 2-fight win streak for her now, and it snaps a 3-fight losing streak. So nice work. As for Marina, tough loss, Marina. Only her 4th in her career. And by the way, her other losses are to Virna Jandiroba, who's now ranked 5, Amanda Lemos, who's ranked 6, and Carla Esparza, who is the former women's champion. So, these are not bad losses. And even though she's 1-3 in her last 4. I mean, I still think she's able to hang with the majority of these women. She's going to be fighting down in the women's strawweight rankings. I mean, number 9, Luiana Pinheiro could be a potential opponent. Number 10, Lupi Godinez. Number 11, Tabitha Ricci. Number 13 ranked, Karolina Kowalski. There's a lot of options for Marina Rodriguez. We'll see how she does, but Jessica Andrade, you legend, getting it done. Legend in the women's division, holds so many records. With that, we got into our final early prelim, and this signaled the halfway point of the prelims. And might I say, this was the biggest choke of the whole night. The biggest choke job of the whole night goes to number 10 ranked currently Jalen Turner as he took on 13th ranked Renato Moicano. And this fight starts off, pretty even. I was expecting Jalen Turner to kind of come out and knock him down, but no, Renato Moicano was able to close the distance, really look beefed up here. He was looking very beefy. I was very impressed with what I was seeing. And wow, just wow. He gets taken down by Renato Moicano. Renato was able to get almost 3 minutes of control time. And then they get back on the feet. And Jalen Turner lands a huge punch that sends Renato Moicano down. And Jalen Turner tried to get that $300K bonus and walk away. But Renato Moicano stands right back up. Jalen Turner gives the ref like a, why didn't you stop it? And Renato Moicano is able to survive to the end of round 1. So Jalen Turner could have knocked him out. Instead, actually could have TKO'd him, but after he knocked him down, decided hopefully the ref would stop it. That was not the case. That was not the case. Embarrassing stuff. Jalen Turner, we go into round 2. Renato Moicano lands 1 of 3 takedown attempts, gets 3 minutes of control time, and submits him with 49 seconds left in round number 2. Renato Moicano, amazing win by him. Amazing win. He's going to be ranked number 10 now in the world. Crazy. There was at one point, ladies and gentlemen, that not many of you will remember this, where Renato Moicano was getting knocked out by Rafael Fiziev back in 2020. In 2022, he got brutalized by Rafael dos Anjos. Since November of 2022, though, he's won 3 straight. This is his 3rd straight win, 2nd of the year. He's actually 5-1 now in his last 6. I mean, Renato Moicano will be going up the rankings. Very impressed with him. Gets another submission win. Not a submission win, actually. He TKO'd him. I completely forgot about that. He had in like a rear naked choke and let it go to just TKO Jalen Turner. How did I completely miss this? So that'll actually be Renato Moicano's first TKO victory in the UFC. Good win for him. That actually makes it honestly a little bit worse. Money Moicano getting that TKO. I can't believe I thought it was a submission. That's actually, you know what? He had like 4 submission attempts in that fight. So I'll leave it at that. Jalen Turner, now 1-3 in his last 4. Yeah, tough to be a Jalen Turner. Money Moicano, he'll be ranked 10. A lot of options for him to fight up against. Rematch against number 8, Rafael Fiziev. Number 7 ranked Beneil Dariush could be an option. Heck, even number 9 ranked Dan Hooker could be a fun fight. Number 11, Benoit Saint-Denis. There's a lot of options if you're Renato Moicano. As for Jalen Turner, I mean, I don't even know what to do with Jalen. He could fight number 11 ranked Benoit Saint-Denis. He could fight number 15 ranked Matt Frivola. If anything, I think Jalen Turner is going to be fighting an unranked competitor. He lost his shot here, and Moicano grabbed onto it and succeeded. Great win by Renato Moicano. Happy to see it. After that, we had one of my favorite finishes of the night, as number 13th ranked Sodiq Yusuff took on the newly added EA Sports UFC 5 fighter of the name Diego Lopez. Just absolutely on fire. This guy is absolutely on fire, taking the UFC by storm. And by the way, before this, he had 2 fights back-to-back that he had won in 30 seconds. In 90 seconds, my bad. A minute and a half. And heading into this one, Sodiq was a tough competitor. Sodiq Yusuff was tough as they come, but it did not matter to Diego Lopez as he steamrolls Diego Lopez in 1 minute and 29 seconds, an 89-second TKO of Sodiq Yusuff. And Sodiq Yusuff had never been finished in his career. He had never been finished in his entire career. And he gets finished in 1 minute and 29 seconds by the just rising stud, Diego Lopez. I mean, we kicked this fight off. I mean, here's the thing. When you have a fighter that always is known for finishing his opponents quickly, you almost don't expect it as much because you're kind of like, okay, he's done it all these times before. There's no way he does it again. He does. Starts swinging, catches Sodiq with an uppercut, drops him. Sodiq rolls against the cage, eating punches, gets back up again. Diego Lopez clips him with an even bigger uppercut, drops him to the ground. It only took a couple more follow-up punches, and Diego Lopez has now gone from unranked in the UFC in 2023 to now on a 3-fight win streak, all in under a minute and a half. And he's going to be ranked number 13th in the UFC. Incredible stuff from Diego Lopez. Incredible stuff. 3-fight win streak now. Just amazing. Utterly amazing. If this wasn't UFC 300, he would without a doubt gotten a performance bonus. I honestly thought he should have. I honestly thought he should have gotten a performance bonus because he wowed me. He wowed me beyond belief. Let me just tell you that. Sodiq, this is a tough loss. This is a tough loss if you're Sodiq Yusuff. I think you're now going to be fighting an unranked featherweight come whenever. I mean, it's certainly not looking like he's going to be getting anyone ranked, let me tell you that. But Diego Lopez, going to be ranked 13th. You got options. Number 12 ranked Danny. You guys see people floating that name around. I love it. Number 10 ranked Bryce Mitchell. I love it. The winner of Giga Chikadze. And who's he fighting? Arnold Allen? That could be an option. I mean, sky's the limit for Diego Lopez. Josh Emmett's another name I would love to see. He's on fire. I love him. So, Deke, if I could give you a name, I'd say maybe if Lerone Murphy gets it done, that could be another pick-me-up fight for Lerone if he beats Edson Barbosa May 18th. But man, oh man, happy to see Diego get it done. He gets me so hyped. He's such a fun fighter. I'm so glad he's in the video game. Following his thrilling victory, we finally got the long-awaited debut of the former judo gold medalist, former PFL women's champion, Kayla Harrison, as she debuted against the number 5 ranked Holly Holmes. And I was very excited for this fight. And honestly, Kayla Harrison did not disappoint. Did exactly what we thought she was going to do. Round 1, brings the takedowns, takes down Holly Holmes, dominates her. 46 significant strikes to 1, 3 minutes, 49 seconds control time. Round 2, 1 minute of control time, 12 total strikes to 1, TKOs her, or submits her 1 minute and 45 seconds into round number 2. Domination from Kayla Harrison. And I just had not seen Holly Holmes lose like this. I've never seen her lose like this. I mean, even the Mara Bueno Silva fight, she looked like she was winning up until she got caught in a guillotine, but no. Kayla Harrison came in, did exactly what she said she was going to do, and knocked off the number 5 woman in the world at bantamweight. Crazy debut. Kayla Harrison wins her 17th professional bout, now 17-1. As for Holly Holmes, late in her early 40s, I think she should retire. I think it's time Holly Holmes calls it a career. If not, she's just going to be fighting who? Number 7th ranked Miesha Tate, number 9 ranked Norma Dumont. I don't know what to do with her. All I know is for Kayla Harrison, give her a title shot. Give her a freaking title shot. There's just no one else. Mara Bueno Silva just lost. Ketlin Vieira has done nothing exciting. Irene Aldana just lost. Julia Pena hasn't fought since 2022, for goodness sakes. Give Kayla Harrison a title shot. She'll bring some excitement back to the women's bantamweight division. That's all I got to say. Retirement for Holly, and how about a little title shot for Kayla Harrison? Good job to her. After that, second to last prelim of the night, we head to the men's featherweight division as Aljamain Sterling made his long-awaited debut, currently ranked number 2 at bantamweight. I'm sure he's going to get bumped from there as he took on the number 8 ranked Calvin Kattar, I should better say. It's obviously not Kattar, it's Kattar. But I mean, name of the game for this one is Calvin Kattar looks slow, Calvin Kattar looks old, and Aljamain Sterling is here to stay. 8 of 13 takedowns, 10 minutes and 43 seconds of control time. Total strikes 89-19. Significant strikes 39-8. Calvin Kattar only landed 8 significant strikes this whole fight. Didn't land any in round 3. I mean, round 1, Kattar was striking a bit, but Sterling just had him up against the fence the whole time. 4 of 7 on takedowns. Round 2, Aljamain 2 of 3 on takedowns. 4 minutes, 10 seconds of control time. Round 3, 2 takedowns, 4 minutes, 42 seconds. Aljamain wasn't really attempting a finish, which was a bit disappointing, but he went in there with a game plan to get a victory, and that's what happened. Calvin Kattar's 2-year return is ruined, and Calvin Kattar, who at one point was on the verge of a title shot, is now 1-4 in his last 5 fights. He hasn't won since January of 2022. 3-fight losing streak officially. Not that pretty. Aljamain Sterling, though, avenges his last loss. He didn't avenge his last loss, but gets back in the win column after being knocked out in August. Good for him. He's going to be ranked number 8 now in the men's featherweight division. I mean, pound for pound wise, he's currently number 15. So, I mean, he could even move up a spot or two. But I'd love to see him against number 5 ranked Movsar, number 3 ranked Brian Ortega. I like both those options. Personally, I think Movsar is in more of a title shot area. I think Brian Ortega or Yair Rodriguez would be great opponents for Aljamain Sterling. A lot of options for Aljamain as he'll be fighting up in the rankings. As for, Calvin Kattar, he's going to be bumped down to 9 or 10. I mean, Kattar could take on Bryce Mitchell. Those men both need to win. He could take on the winner of Edson Barbosa and Leon Murphy. He's just going to be fighting someone coming up the rankings. But Aljamain Sterling, surprising me, man. I mean, I only thought Calvin Kattar had him. And, Aljamain's grappling just proved superior. And there's this funny clip of him celebrating when Dana White was cheering. When Dana White announced that they were going to have the bonuses be $300,000. And Aljamain Sterling was cheering. Like, he was getting the crowd all hype. And then there was a bunch of memes like, you just found out there's a $300,000 bonus and you grapple your opponent. I mean, this is wild to say. This was the worst fight on the whole card. Aljamain Sterling versus Calvin Kattar, followed by Jessica Andrade, Marina Rodriguez just ahead of it. But I mean, yeah, unfortunately, Aljamain Sterling put up the most boring performance, but one of the better ones. Pure domination. His grappling was on point. I think at the end of the day, all that mattered was getting back in the win column. And after that, ladies and gentlemen, we got to our final prelim of the night as number 2 ranked Jiri Prochazka took on number 5 ranked Alexander Rakic. And by the way, this was your fight of the night up until the BMF title bout. I mean, come on. Jiri had just gotten TKO'd in November. Rakic hadn't fought since May of 2022. And we got round 1 going. Round 1, Rakic is on point. The leg kicks dominating Jiri Prochazka. Jiri Prochazka's leg was chopped up. Oh my goodness. I just couldn't even believe it. 36 significant strikes to 16. Rakic was dominating this fight. But every time Rakic hit Jiri with a big shot, Jiri would kind of pound his chest, tell him to bring it some more. Kind of was throwing Rakic off. Rakic wasn't really feeling any takedown attempts. Keeping the game plan simple. Striking on him. Then we got into round 2, and we sort of saw a switch up. Jiri turns it up to level 100, 10 out of 10. I mean, he had the voltage going. Jiri outstrikes him 53-22, lands a freaking takedown just to do it, and TKOs him on the ground 3 minutes, 17 seconds into round number 2. Jiri Prochazka with one of the best comebacks I've seen. His leg was beat, but he just kept striking. Rakic was getting hit. He fell down. Jiri took him down and just boom, 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 boom. And Jiri Prochazka is back in the win column. I mean, come on. This was only Jiri Prochazka's 5th UFC fight, and he already has one of the most legendary careers ever. Has yet to ever see a decision. He's never seen a decision. And Four wins in the UFC, 3 of them are round 2 TKOs. He's gotten a performance bonus in every single fight except his loss to Alex Pereira. Just incredible. Jiri Prochazka back in the win column. You'll love to see it. He's going to be ranked number 1 in the world. He's going to be the number 1 light heavyweight contender right after this since Jamal Hill lost. I mean, Jiri, absolutely love to see it. As for Rakic, I do feel bad. Coming in after 2 years off, I should say, from a leg injury. He's now on a 2-fight losing streak, but we know he's good. He had a good round 1. He fought Jiri Prochazka. I mean, you just cannot fight Jiri. Jiri's an absolute killer. I knew he still had it. Big Jiri fan. But I also don't hate Rakic. I'm actually kind of a Rakic fan. I expect him to be back. Jiri, all right, I think him and Jamal Hill have a fight coming up. That could be massive. Him versus number 4 ranked Jan Blachowicz somewhere in Europe could be a great fight too. Excited to see what's next for him. I mean, it's going to be a top 4 guy. I'd say top 5, but Rakic is currently 5th. He's beaten him. So yeah, Jiri Prochazka versus Jan in Europe or Jamal in the US. Probably the next option. So as for Rakic, he's ranked 5th. Fights with number 6 ranked Nikita Krylov, number 7 ranked Jai Walker, number 8 ranked Khalil Roundtree Jr., a little rematch with number 9 ranked Volkan Ozdemir. There's a lot of options for Rakic. I think staying active will be his best bet. I think coming back in July or August could really help him. But, I mean, just not an ideal debut for him. But Jerry Prochazka, by the way, getting that $300K bonus. Jerry is going to buy a whole forest so he can punch the trees and scream into them. I absolutely love Jerry Prochazka. With that, we head into the main card, 4-4 on predictions. First off, I just want to say that picking Jim Miller over Bobby Green, looking back, was picking with my heart. Bobby Green was just clearly better. He's just clearly a better fighter. Andrade Rodriguez, I literally just went with the underdog because that's usually how women's MMA goes. Backfired on me. Renato Moicano and Jalen Turner. I did not realize how good his grappling was, and Jalen Turner just did not even look ready for the fight. And Aljamain Sterling and Calvin Kattar, I thought Calvin would be dominant. I thought his hands would be good, but not. Aljamain's grappling too superior. But we nailed the Jerry, round 2 knockout. Kayla Harrison getting the finish. I mean, I knew she'd dominate, but I didn't know she'd get finished. Diego Lopez, we knew it was going to get done in round 1. And Devson Figueiredo, we knew he would handle Cody Garbrandt. Alrighty, getting into our main card, we kicked it off with Bo Nickal, the undefeated Penn State wrestling legend, as he took on Cody Brundage. And unfortunately for Bo, despite how impressive this performance was, people were booing him, man. People were booing him. And I mean, I don't really know why. I don't know why you're booing him. I thought it was a good performance. He dominated Cody Brundage, submits him with a rear naked choke in round number 2. Round 1, Bo Nickal, I mean, Cody had him up against the cage like in the first minute and tried to throw a kick and missed. And Bo just went to the takedowns. 2 of 4 on takedowns, 4 minutes and 25 seconds of control time. Couldn't really get a submission and pretty much dominate him grappling wise. But Bo Nickal finally sees round 2 for the first time in his career. And of the 3 minutes and 38 seconds in round number 2, 3 minutes of it controlled by Bo Nickal. Almost submitted Cody Brundage at about the 3-minute mark. Was able to readjust and was able to put Brundage not to sleep, but Brundage tapped right away. He knew it was night-night. Bo Nickal undefeated. Undefeated 6-0. All of them finishes. And I think of his 6 wins, 4 now are by submission. Very impressive stuff for Bo Nickal. 3-0 now in the UFC, under UFC banners. 5-0 if you include his 2 Dana White Contender Series wins. I'm happy for him. I'm honestly happy for Bo, and I'm happy that they're not pushing him to the top. I'm honestly really happy they're not pushing him to the top. I just don't think he's ready for some of these top guys. We've not been able to test his striking, so I would love to put him up against a striker. Edmund Shabazian is 26 years old, been fighting in the UFC since he was 20 years old. I mean, he's a great striker. I think he's someone Bo Nickal would match up very well with to test his striking abilities. So I think Bo Nickal versus Edmund Shabazian would be a great fight. Unranked as well. They're throwing around the name Josh Fremd as well. He's another unranked middleweight who could be an option for Bo Nickal. Let's just hope we see him soon. All right, I'm just hoping we see Bo Nickal soon. He's kind of averaging, from what I'm seeing, looking like 6. What's 3 to 7, 4. He was coming in off of a 5, almost a 9-month layoff. I'm hoping we see Bo Nickal back in the ring, back in the octagon. I mean, by summer. By summer would be very nice. As for Cody Brundage, honestly, for being 10-6 professionally, for being 2-4 in his last 6, he's kind of entertaining. I can't lie. He's kind of entertaining. He took this fight against Bo Nickal. I think they'll keep him around for one more. I think Cody Brundage is kind of at a spot with the UFC where you win, you stay, you lose, you go home. And that goes for any fight. If he loses any other fight, he'll go home. But good kudos to him for taking this fight. Bo Nickal is just far superior. Good job, Bo. Hopefully we see you sooner than later. And then the heartbreaking moment of the night. Honestly, it wasn't that brutal. But number 4 ranked Arman Tsarukyan beats number 1 ranked Charles the Bronx Oliveira. Arman just had it, man. Arman just had his number in round 1. Split decision, by the way. Thank you, Mike Bell, for scoring it for Charles Oliveira. But we did get this wrong. I picked in my heart for Charles, and Arman just proved to be superior. And I'm excited to see him fight for the belt, probably at Madison Square Garden, which is even crazier. Round 1, even in significant strikes, 9 apiece. Total strikes 19-12 for Arman. This was a grappling matchup. I mean, Charles hit him with the guillotine, almost submitted him. Arman was able to reverse it back onto top. I mean, 2 minutes and 42 seconds control time for Arman, 1 minute 44 for Charles Oliveira. For this whole fight, over 11 minutes of it was spent grappling. So this was essentially a sparring matchup. There was one moment in round one where it looked like Charles almost dropped Arman, but Arman, looking back on the replay, slipped. I think that's kind of why the judge scored it for him. Two judges might even score it for him, but round two, clearly for Arman, outstruck him significantly, 22-5. Total strikes 38-14, 1 of 2 on takedowns for 3 minutes 49 seconds. Charles went for a guillotine. Arman was able to get him down to the ground and control him there. Nothing really exciting here. This was super comical. We were watching this fight through RG3's, that's right, the former Redskins quarterback, his live stream on TikTok. It was super funny. Round 3 gets going. Arman Tsarukyan outstrikes him 18-5 significantly, 18-7 for total strikes. 1 of 2 on takedowns for 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Charles ended the fight, having him in a tight Darce choke. Attempted multiple submissions. And I mean, once it was all said and done, there was no damage to either man. You know, it was just Arman had more control time. 8 minutes and 41 when it was all said and done. Charles had 4 submission attempts, and, you know, he got outstruck significantly by 30. Just, I don't really want to say it was not an impressive performance, but, I mean, it was just technical. These two guys were technical, and when it came down to it, they were both games. So, Arman Tsarukyan, you know, I understand we're going to mention in a minute Max Holloway beat number 2 ranked Justin Gaethje, but Arman just beat the number 1 ranked natural lightweight Charles Oliveira. Arman Tsarukyan should have a 1 next to his name come Tuesday, or actually when you listen to this, you'll already see where his ranking is, as he gears up for a fight with the winner of Islam Makhachev and Dustin Poirier. I don't know why I say the winner of, because it's definitely going to be Islam Makhachev, but that fight's going to be super, super fun. As for Charles, you know, he's probably getting the bump down to either the number 2 or number 3 spot in the rankings. I mean, it's kind of weird that he holds wins over the number 2, the number 3, the number 6, number 7 guys. You know, it's kind of hard to see him fighting down. But Charles Oliveira, there's plenty of options. You know, him versus number 5 ranked Mateusz Gamrot, I think sounds the most feasible. Him versus the winner of Michael Chandler and what's-his-face, Conor McGregor, would be an absolute amazing matchup. And even, you know, he could fight down a bit lower. You know, number 9 ranked Dan Hooker, number 8 ranked Top Aziz. I think there's a lot of options for Charles. And I don't think he's done. This fight just showed how good Arman is. And there weren't really we didn't really see anything new from either guy. I think it was kind of more of these two guys, they're finishers. They've been coming in off of some great finishes. And unfortunately for this one, you know, they're just too high-leveled. So, Arman, title shot next. Charles, I'm going to give you number 5 ranked Mateusz Gamrot. Makes the most sense to me. After that, ladies and gentlemen, we got into the best fight, the best moment of the year, maybe even in all of UFC. This was one of the craziest experiences I've ever had. This was undoubtedly the best moment of the night, by far. Best moment of the year, as I mentioned, the BMF title bout, as Max Holloway, your number 1 featherweight, took on, actually he's currently number 2, oddly, Volkanovski's ahead of him, took on your number 2 lightweight, your current BMF champion, Justin Gaethje, and man, oh man, where do we even begin? Where do we even begin with this fight? I don't even know where we begin, because this was absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. We get it started, round 1, Max Holloway breaks Gaethje's freaking nose. Breaks his nose, outstrikes him 25 significant strikes to 12. Crazy. Round 2, Justin starts fighting back a bit, gets outstruck 30-18. Justin might have took this, landed some big shots, had a better striking percentage, 69%. No takedowns for either man this whole fight. Round 3, Max Holloway wins it though. 29 significant strikes to 20. Max was just looking better. We do get to round 4 though. Even 35 significant strikes each. Could have gone either way. It truly felt to me that it came down to the final round, but was leaning Max Holloway. And then Max takes over 62 significant strikes to 18. And with 1 second left in the fight, it was actually with 10 seconds, Max Holloway did his typical points down to the mat, let's throw down and swing. They're swinging, and with a second left, clips Gaethje with an overhand, drops him out, knocks him out cold. The entire place goes crazy. Me and all my boys jumped off the couch. We were shocked. We were like, what is going on? What is going on? Gaethje was unconscious. Max was celebrating, and you're damn right. Max blessed Holloway is the BMF, the baddest mother effer in the entire UFC. I just absolutely love it. I just absolutely love it. I just absolutely love it. It gets me so hype. It gets me so hype. I can't even believe it. Max Holloway now on a 3-fight winning streak, 2-fight finishing streak. This fight wins fight of the night, and Max Holloway gets a performance of the night for his knockout. $600K on top of whatever he made. Max Holloway's a rich man. Max Holloway's son Rush and his wife are not gonna have to work for much anymore in their life. Max is a legend. Max is a legend. Props to Gaethje, tough as nails, but man, oh man. Max Holloway is currently the number 14th ranked pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. I'm putting him past number 13 Sean Strickland, number 12 ranked Tom Aspinall, number 11th ranked Adesanya, number 10 ranked Pantoja, number 9 ranked Duplessis, number 8 ranked Volkanovski, number 7 ranked Charles Oliveira, even number 6 Sean O'Malley. I think Max Holloway is the number 6 pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. I mean, just no one else is doing that. No one else is doing that. Sean Strickland isn't taking BMF title fights. Adesanya isn't. Pantoja isn't. Duplessis isn't. Give Max Holloway his credit. He's going to be ranked number 2 now in 2 divisions. I mean, are you kidding me? And Max Holloway can do whatever he wants now. Max Holloway is in one of the weirdest positions I've seen. He's reached Conor McGregor status. He could fight Ilia Topuria in Spain. He could fight Islam Makhachev in Abu Dhabi. He could fight Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler, the winner of that fight, in a sold-out arena. Max can just do whatever he wants. Incredible stuff from Max Holloway. I gotta give it to him. He has reached a whole new level. He's in the top 3, maybe even top 5 if we're pointing out everyone's stars in the company. I mean, honestly, as we look at the champions, I think Max is bigger than Pantoja. He's bigger than Topuria in the UFC. Bigger than Makhachev, bigger than Leon Edwards, bigger than Duplessis. I mean, it's him, Pereira, Sean O'Malley. When it comes to champions, they're just running the scene. I mean, incredible stuff. Incredible stuff from Max Holloway. As for Gaethje, he's probably going to be ranked number 3 come Tuesday, maybe even number 4. He could fight number 5 ranked Matus Gamrot. He could fight number 9 ranked Dan Hooker. I don't know. He's going to need some time off after getting brutally knocked out. But yeah, that was brutal. That was brutal as they come. Max Holloway, though, an absolute legend. With that, we got into our co-main event, and they were doomed to begin from the beginning. I'm sorry to say it, as Zhang Weili took on the number 1 contender, Yan Chayonin, to retain her belt. Wins by unanimous decision, 49-45s across the board. And it's just, there was one moment at the end of round 1 where Zhang Weili essentially submitted Yan Chayonin like she was out. But then once the ref pulled her off, she was able to wake back up in the corner. So Zhang Weili wins round 1. Zhang Weili wins round 2. Yan Chayonin wins round 3 somehow, drops Zhang Weili. And then Zhang Weili wins round 4 and 5. Just domination from Magnum. She should be the number 1 pound-for-pound woman on the planet. She's better than Alexa Grasso. She can kick Alexa Grasso's you-know-what. Yan Chayonin, tough as nails. But I mean, we said the same thing about Amanda Lemos. It's just tough to finish some of these women. Totals from the fight, though. 106 significant strikes to 43 in favor of Zhang Weili. 256 total strikes to 73 in favor of Zhang Weili. 6 of 9 on takedowns compared to 3 of 3 on takedowns for Yan Chayonin. 13 minutes of control time for Zhang Weili compared to 2 minutes and 20 seconds for Yan Chayonin. Zhang Weili just dominate. Round 2, 54 significant strikes to 4. Round 5 had 3 minutes and 50 seconds of control time. Round 4, 3 minutes, 42 seconds of control time. Yan Chayonin was able to drop her once in round 3 officially. It looked like twice. Take her down twice, but it was all said and done. Zhang Weili remained supreme. Make it 4 straight for Zhang Weili, and this will be her 2nd title defense in her little run, her 2nd run with the belt. Yan Chayonin, tough loss, but I mean, she'll be back. Without a doubt, Yan Chayonin will be back. She can take on number 3 ranked Amanda Lemos. She could take on number 5 ranked Vera Jandiroba. I don't even know. A couple options for her. As for Zhang Weili, she's got a matchup with number 2 ranked Tatiana Suarez, who's currently 11-0 with 8 finishes. That's the fight next for her. Probably going down in August or September, I assume. But let's hope Zhang Weili stays active. She only had 1 fight last year. Already got another dominant win in this year, and she has a contender lined up for her. So that was that for our co-main event. And then we went to the main event. And we were ready for it. We were so ready for this main event. It was long overdue. We had just watched 25 minutes of grappling, essentially, and we were ready to see a war. As your number one ranked light heavyweight, Jamal Hill, was taking on your light heavyweight champion, your number 4 pound-for-pound fighter on the planet, Alex Poatan Pereira. And you may be wondering, Zach, was this an absolute war for however many rounds? And first off, let me just tell you, Pereira's entrance, amazing. Jamal Hill's entrance and in-ring antics, he was being cocky while Pereira was walking to the ring. He was trying to make himself an online superstar beforehand. He's trying to do what Nito Pure did. He put in his bio he was going to win. He already said this was easy. He was already planning on his first title defense. And Alex Poatan Pereira said, "No, sir, let me knock you unconscious," in just over 3 minutes. In one of the coldest moments I've ever seen, Alex Pereira, his nickname's Poatan, by the way. Jamal Hill hits him with a nut shot. Nothing bad. Kind of clips him a bit, kind of a low blow. Herb goes to stop it. Without taking his eyes off of Jamal Hill, puts his hand out to stop Herb. Herb kind of just goes, "Okay, I'll step back." Gives a little fist bump gives a little hand touch to Jamal Hill, going, "You're all good, bro." Steps in, clips him with a left, drops him. I leapt out of my seat. There was like 7 of us watching the fight. Everyone was screaming, landing a bunch of follow-up shots, pounding Jamal Hill's face like a basketball across the canvas. And Jamal Hill is unconscious as Poatan Pereira steps up and gives him a little shrug of his hands. Literally pointing with both his hands out. I'm like, "You see this fool? You see this fool?" And Alex Pereira gets his first official title defense. He's a legend. He's an absolute legend. Make it 3-0, a 3-fight winning streak at light heavyweight. And in his MMA career now, in the UFC, he is now 7-1 in the UFC. His only loss is the Israel Adesanya. Only been the distance twice. This guy is a superstar. And Alex Pereira honestly should have gotten a performance bonus for that. That was crazy. Oh my goodness. Said he wants to fight at heavyweight next. I could not get enough of this dude. Currently the number 4 pound-for-pound fighter. Move him up to 3. For goodness sakes, move him up to 2. I mean, come on. Jamal Hill will probably drop down, to the number 2 spot. Jerry should pass him. And Alex Pereira, man, oh my goodness. Just so exciting. So excited. I could not get enough of him. He is a superstar. If you are what you say you are, a superstar. Sean O'Malley theme song. You can bet your butt that Shang Wei Li is absolutely just not Shang Wei Li. What's his freaking name? Alex Pereira. I'm getting my words all jumbled up. It's how excited I get sometimes. But Alex Pereira, he'll have another title defense coming up sooner or later against number 3 ranked Magomed Ankalaev. Should be an absolute banger of a matchup. Excited for that one. Alex Pereira's grappling will be put to the test. That's for Jamal Hill. Like I said, Jerry Broskov's fight there. Alexander Rakic's fight, Nikita Krylov fight, Jan fight. There's so many options for Jamal Hill. But the night goes to Alex Pereira when it's all said and done. But in reality, Max Holloway walked away as the biggest star of UFC 300. I mean, just him and Pereira landing both those knockouts within a 3-fight span. Crazy. Just absolute scenes. I was here for it. I was very much here for it. So yeah, excited to see what's next for all of these fighters. We go 7-6 on the whole card, 3-2 on the main card. And as I look back at my picks, I mean, Max Holloway surprised me. I picked with my heart for Charles Oliveira, and we already talked about the prelims. I mean, big things ahead for all these guys. UFC 300, the best event of the year, the best event probably I've watched. It was amazing. And with that, folks, I'll conclude our episode. Just so amazing. I can just cheer about it over and over and over again. Some other random moments. Arman Tsarukyan punched a fan who was mocking him on his ring walkout, which was absolutely hilarious. Dana White was on fire at the press conference. Absolutely crazy. And I saw Josh Duhamel in attendance. I love Josh Duhamel, amazing actor. But yeah, that'll conclude it, folks. We'll be back with big things ahead. Big episodes coming ahead. We'll see what happens. But without a doubt, I will make sure to catch you all next time on the Surprise Jab Podcast.